It's Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Asta.
Con Carne.
It's a fine rendition. And it is Con Carne. We're live now. He's going to regret that. Con Carne on a Friday night. I hope you all had a fantastic, relaxing, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving. And here we are heading into the weekend, Black Friday. And Con Carne is presented by our friends at Siren Records in Mchenry. The location there, 3902 Main Street in Mchenry. Besides vinyl and records and cassettes and everything you'd expect at the record store, they sell components, stereo components, vintage components. I basically pieced together a brand new stereo system. I've been dying to get a new cassette deck and a CD player and a receiver, actually an amplifier in this case, and great speakers. I went there. I explained to Bill there exactly what I needed for my home stereo. Totally steered me in the right direction. I'll probably end up back there again this weekend to see if I can scoop up anything left over from Record Store Day to Day. Siren Records Mchenry. I love that place. 3902 Main Street in McHenry. Chain of Lakes? I think so. Anyway, my guest tonight, he is a local artist. And by artist, I mean a painter. He is George Zach. He is actually sitting in front of much of his work, which we're going to be scrolling through tonight in the video recording of this. George, happy Friday. Happy belated Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Congratulations on your 500th and something episode at this point, huh?
Yeah, well,
as of tomorrow.
It is my birthday tomorrow. It's so weird. Social media is weird. I'm not one to normally draw attention to my birthday. I came up in the 90s where everyone is kind of self-effacing and modest and you don't talk much about yourself. I never really draw attention to it. But the weird thing is because of social media, people know my birthday. Is that how you knew it?
Yeah, I research coming on the show, and I love your show. I've been listening to your podcast for a long time. We met at a concert years ago and stuff, and I always kind of like the way you do things. So I'm coming on your podcast, so I might as well look up and see what I can know. So we have not only talking points, but I was trying to find details about you so I can make your painting.
Okay, so we'll get to that. You painted an original piece, which we're going to show off, which I just absolutely love, and we'll show that in a second. But what I was going to say was social media makes birthdays so weird. I've been getting birthday messages all day. Hey, JVO, happy birthday, congratulations, happy Black Friday birthday. And
that's
I'm like,
Facebook's listening to us all the time.
All the time. But of course, today's not my birthday. And it's weird. Like I'm grateful. And you don't want to say, hey, today's not my birthday, tomorrow is, because that makes you seem like an ingrate or weird. So I've just been politely thanking people for their birthday wishes today. I don't know how that happened, but I guess I get to enjoy two birthdays.
Well, most of us nowadays do a birthday week or a birthday month. So
I feel like that's something like 22-year-olds do. I feel like someone my age, you can't pull that shit when you're, let's just say a decade or so more than 22 years old. So we're going to talk about your painting. We're going to talk about what led you down this road, but you mentioned it. Let's just show it first and foremost. You made a painting for me in your lair, which is your workshop the garage?
Yes, it's my studio. There's not a lot of space in Chicago and rents are a premium. So during this COVID stuff, I locked myself in garage and started creating and made a workshop for framing. And
I love it. So I'm going to show off what you have given me. It's a little heavy. It's actually lighter than it looks.
Be careful. Don't cut yourself. It's rusty. I actually should have made you sign a waiver.
Yeah. So you gave me the tetanus painting, which I appreciate.
Tetanus painting. James Van Tetanus.
So I'll move it over this way. You said this is the mic check engine.
Yeah,
that's the theme.
Engine. I figured that's what I could come up with. You do your podcast in the car, and during COVID, you've been calling it COVID Con Carne, and I figured a little homage that you might miss it, so I gave you a little check engine light and your microphone. So
I absolutely love it. I love the concept. I love the way you colored this, and you framed it. You've got this. Here's where I'm going to get tetanus right there.
That, and I made fake bullet holes in it because this is Chicago, in fact.
Oh, there you go, carrying the concept. But you made this frame, obviously.
Yeah, I hand make all my frames. I have help. Good friends of mine, Raphael and Brad, help, and my fiance's input on things, and all the people in my life that kind of like help give their little critiques and whatever, and it's one of those things where framing is very expensive. It's very expensive.
Absolutely.
And you give somebody your artwork and you tell them your idea and they charge you $400 at Michael to frame a painting, there's still their input in it. And I want mine and my friends and my family's input on it because, as I'm a painter I've been a chef for many years, but I'm not a painter because it's painting, but it's framing. It's everything that goes into it. Some of the stuff I do, this blinking one, this one's called construction season in Chicago. So it's not, is it a painting? Not really,
Well, and then you're spoiling things because we're going to get to a better shot of that.
Gotcha.
Don't get ahead of yourself. But I love this painting. I love very thoughtful. Obviously, you came up with a concept and you really leaned into it. I think it's fantastic. And
thank you. I appreciate that.
It'll be on my wall next time.
You were kind of taken back when I gave it to you, and that's like the best feeling in the world. Whether you're a chef or a painter, when you give or make something from yourself to somebody else and they appreciate it that much, it's one of those things where you're just like, that's why you do it.
Anytime you give someone something that's handmade,
well,
it's so much more meaningful.
This is the first time that I'm ever kind of getting into the art game. I must have made 200-300 paintings in my life or pieces of art, and I've given them all away. When friends or family are over and they're like, wow, I really like that. And I'm like, take it, take it. So,
I love it.
But during during COVID and everything like that, and, the restaurant industry is dying. It's hurting.
Well, let's talk about what led you here. So you've been a chef, you've been a restaurateur, you've been in the service industry for ages. Paint a picture here locally. Where have you worked?
I worked at Lou Mitchell's. I ran Justin's. I worked in the suburbs and ran like North Beach and Downers Grove, and just kind of a little Wrigleyville and kind of all over. And then I worked catering for a long time, and what our shtick was photo shoots. So we did Crate and Barrel and stuff like that. Well, now there's no gatherings of that going on, so it's kind of, I needed a creative outlet and I needed a financial one.
Yeah, I totally get it. And this is a theme I keep coming back to with this podcast: is how to navigate around the whole
world. I mean, we're talking about an industry and podcasts. The whole world has shifted, and we kind of all don't know what it's going to look like on the other side of this slide.
True. And when you talked about me doing my podcast in my car, I swear to God, that feels like years ago. Now that I'm this deep
paintings, we're going to go to Gene and Jude's and we're going to do the car podcast. So.
Perfect. But it seems like another lifetime ago. I've been doing this every night from home.
8 months now,
Yeah, I mean it's insane.
There's no plan in place, so there's no, nobody has the answer. So we're just gonna feel around in the dark and move forward and put on our masks and podcast from your house and paint paintings in my garage.
That's it. And I love it. I love finding that creative spark and figuring out a way to massage it and move it further down the road. I'm mixing metaphors again. It's something I do, and I'm sorry. That said, here you are. You've been woodshedding away in your garage. I want to show off some of what you've been doing. So for that, I'm going to share the screen. Apologies to people who are listening to this in its true podcast form after the fact, because you're missing the visual element. I'll do my best to describe what we're seeing, but you might be missing some of it. In which case,
low tone.
There you go. You can always watch on YouTube after the fact, or of course, Facebook after the fact. So let's start here. One pill makes you larger, one pill makes you small. What are we looking at here?
Well, my fiance is a petite woman, and I'm a man of carriage, you could say.
A man of carriage.
And we kind of sweetly started referring to each other as the bunny and the bear. And I wanted to make her a rabbit, so I took this particle board that I had, like we were waiting on canvas to come from Amazon or whatever. So I took this particle board, as that's, my garage is built of, and it was a piece of scrap. And I had to kind of seal it and repaint all the particle back on top. And then it was one of those things where I just messed around for 5, 6, 7 hours, and everybody, I thought that one would not get a great reception, and everybody seems to absolutely adore that one, including my fiance.
I think it's fantastic as well. John Bauman on the Facebook Live.
Little John, fat kiss.
Referring to you, saying he can cook. So your cooking legacy precedes you.
Little John, he does his smokehouse at Livewire and Liars Club, etc. So go eat some Little John's barbecue.
Next up, I love this.
I knew you bring up this one.
So, and I should, for people listening, I've got to remind myself to do this. You kind of described it, the rabbit on particle board. Now, this is a spiky high heel with spikes in the back of the shoe, on top of the foot, and the heel is driving itself directly into the heart of a voodoo doll of a man holding a heart in one hand, a flower in the other. Looks like there's blood coming out from his heart. It's very pop art looking. The frame of it, what is the frame?
The frame is, so the name of the painting is Friend Zoned, which is kind of like a stab in the heart to, everybody's been friend zoned at least once in their life. And, putting the kind of the stripper heel on there, and they don't really like us. The frame is black leather cushioning. It's soft, and it looks like, a couch you'd find at a strip club.
And that would explain the $50 bill dangling from it.
Yeah. That was a last minute edition, and
which may or may not come with the finished painting if you choose to buy it from George. But I love this. The colors, the shoe is a very gaudy, bright, magenta, purplish, glittery. But I think the thing that really sells it for me is that voodoo doll, that effigy of a man with the sewn up mouth and the button eye. I love that.
Because he's been beat up, as we all have in the world, and everybody in the world has had some lost love, except those lucky enough to, grow up next door to the girl they married since they were kids. So, we've all been at that point, and, he's a little battered and he's bruised, and, the candy and flowers that he's bringing, and you still get your hurt. Everybody still gets their heart broken. So
you showed this to your fiance. What did she say?
She's the one that came up with the name, actually. Friend Zone.
Fantastic.
And I looked at her like, oh, you're terrible.
That's fantastic. All right. Next up, you pointed to this at the beginning of our interview, the Chicago construction. This is, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Chicago construction season, yeah.
So there's a wrong way sign of sorts. Basically, it's a bunch of parts held together, which feels like Chicago during construction time. There's caution tape. There's a sawhorse, a blinking light. Tell me what else I'm seeing in here.
Well, what it was is, as well as the pop art stuff that I do, I enjoy switching gears and doing fluid art. So that's pouring and putting things on a Lazy Susan and spinning them. And I did those colors, and it came out kind of frantic, and the painting itself reminded me of anxiety. And I thought about the most time that I had anxiety, and a lot of it has to do with sitting on the highway. I've worked in Bucktown for years. I live in Jefferson Park. It's 5 miles away, and there's days that it took me an hour and a half to get home.
Oh yeah,
and that's why I have this 90 tattoo because I spend most of my life on it.
Yeah, there of the things I mourn and miss from life before the pandemic, commuting during rush hour, not one of those things. Because I got to a point where I couldn't even listen to music on my commutes. I had to listen to some form of spoken word because music would get me too amped.
I would just need to get out of there, you know?
Yeah, you need to kind of level off a little bit when you just accept your fate and go quietly.
Well, that's when I would listen to your podcast.
There you thank you. All right, so this I've got to ask. This is a dog holding onto a rocket ship, blasting off past Saturn. Is this the same dog that I saw in your personal Facebook profile
that
picture?
Is my dog. That's my dog, Curtis. He's 8 months old, or gonna be 9 months old. He's a boxer, and boxers. If you know anything about boxers, the breed in specific, they're clowns.
They're goofs. They're absolute goofs.
They're clowns, and he literally plays until he can't stand, and then falls down and wakes up immediately if there's food or playtime.
Sure.
And basically, everybody. The funny part about this pop art that I've been doing is, I like the little duality, the puns of the words, and that's I hate to say it, but that's Curtis's Red Rocket.
And the frame around this is link chains that are basically a dog collar.
Yeah, I figured out, and I'm not a chain up my dog person. My dog is so spoiled that I can't control him sometimes, and he's still a puppy. But I kind of wanted to put something on there where I was toying with the idea of dog bones or milk bones or treats or whatever, and I was kind of like, I wish I could corral him, and that's kind of where that came from. And the name of the painting is "It Just Means He Likes You."
That's fantastic. I would be lost without my dog during this pandemic.
Absolutely. And in this time, we got him 8 months ago. He was a puppy, and my friend's family breeds them, and we got him at 7 weeks old. And they're already boxers have separation anxiety really bad.
Oh boy.
So we got him during COVID. We got him as a puppy. Me and my fiance have been at home with him the entire time. So even when we go to dinner, it's like, we come back and he's freaking out. Like, where the hell you guys been? I thought you died. So it's one of those ideas of, you got to get your dog to stop jumping. You got to get him, jumping or humping or anything in between. So yeah, the chain about corralling him because he doesn't have a stop button.
Right, of course. All right, what's this called?
This one is Aurora over Alaska. So I always pictured it as like an A3 or something like that. And my sister lives up in Alaska. Shout out to Angela. And we had went up there. And that's actually where I proposed. I proposed on the top of the Manitutska Glacier, which is a 2 million year old glacier, as we were out on a hike.
Show off.
Yeah. And we got engaged, and we went to the southern part of the Kenai Peninsula where there wasn't the aurora. We weren't there at the right time of the year. So I did a pour. This was a fluid art one, and then I went back and embellished it. So I was sad that I missed the aurora, over Alaska. And it's more of a longing type situation where that's my impression of what I would have gotten to see.
Well, and the first thing that struck me about this, just the color. I mean, the very vibrant blues, and then the pinks and the purples and the yellows and the greens in the sky. I love it. It's a nice balance. And in the middle is the darkness and trees. It's a really and snow, of course, in the foreground. Just a nice balance of colors all the way around.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And once again, framing is a big part of my idea for this art. It's I want it to be a total piece, so I try to make it like driftwood and hang it by the rope. It looks like rope that's been out to sea with deadliest catch. Oh, hey Bubs. Hey Bubbers. Sorry, my dog just came in the garage.
No one ever needs to apologize when their pets show up during a Zoom call.
Until
We want that to happen. We want pets to show up.
Well, let me see. Come here, Bubs. Come on. Yeah, like I said,
humans get old fast. Give us dogs. Give us cats. We're good.
Yeah. Well, companionship is a kind of a weird thing when it comes to animals because you think it's kind of unnatural, but it's so loving that you have this love and bond with another species.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Family. Come here, Bubs. Oh, good boy, Bubs. Oh, he's a good boy. He's soft. I gave him a bath yesterday.
Oh, you're a good owner. All right, let's keep moving on here. All right, this is one piece in two components.
Yeah. So this one was another fluid art piece that I did, and then I go back and embellish them because I kind of like make my pours and see what happens. And then I had two nice, orange kind of swashes in the middle of it because when you do fluid art, you're not exactly sure of what is going to happen. And what came out of that one is, it reminded me of, sushi in LA or whatever. And, you walk over the koi pond. And so I made it, and irreverent as my art is, I called this one Chasing Tail. So.
Chasing Tail. I can't resist a good pun, so I'm glad you're here.
Well, I'm not an emotional artist. There's a lot of, think the impressionistic or impressionist artists and things like that. It's not really what you're seeing as it's how you feel, how it makes you feel. What emotions does it evoke in you? There's a lot of art that goes that way. I'm just trying to make cool shit. I want it to be fun. I want it to be, stuff for the younger generation. I'm not painting any seascapes. I'm not painting a Boston whaler, off of the coast of Cape Cod or whatever. And I appreciate those things because they led me to this place, but I want to do things that are fun and whatever and get it out of my system and send it out to the world, All
right, so we've got two more pictures to share. This one is cool. This is your goth picture. Is this the side of a grave?
It's what it was is I was trying to do a sugar skull, and I started this painting like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I did a sugar skull and, with the like Day of the Dead kind of feel vibe to it. And it sucked and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And it just sat there. And every time I picked it up to try to, play with it or whatever, big canvases are expensive.
Yeah.
So you don't just break it in over your knee and throw it away, And I was trying to fix it. And then, to be honest, the truthful story of it is that me and my fiance were kind of getting on each other's nerves a little bit. And it was her fault, not mine.
Clearly.
And I said, you know what? I popped a bottle of wine and I said, let's go outside and Jackson Pollock up this painting. So we threw, the liquid paint all over it and everything. And then when it dried, it was kind of like, wow, I need to embellish all this because, the flow of it is amazing. So I went back and embellished it and kind of, put in my shading and everything where it was. Well, it's still a sugar skull. That part remained from the original piece that I hated so much. And now this is one of the ones that I absolutely adore the most.
Yeah, this is a trip.
This one will never be sold,
Good.
She's going to crush it up and put it in my coffin when I die.
I think it looks fantastic. All right, last up, we have the mending of a broken heart, a very mechanical process here. Explain what we're seeing.
Well, so I painted my whole life. I enjoyed art, and a quick sidetrack here for a second is I had a second grade teacher, and I went to Catholic school, and I can't remember if she was a nun or just a teacher. And I went to Catholic school, and we're in second grade or whatever. And it's okay, children, it's time for art, and we're going to do art class. And we did like the Mr. Potato Head on a white paper plate. And I painted mine orange because, people are flesh toned or whatever, and that's the only crayon I had. But hers was a white paper plate. And, you put your Mr. Potato Head mustache and kind of stuff on it. And I kind of went out of left field with it. And she gave me an F. And I went home and I cried. I bawled my eyes out. And my mom was like, "What's wrong?" Because I had thought I created something kind of different. I was the only one in the class that had something different. And I got failed. And God rest my mother's soul, she went in there and she screamed at that and came out. As soon as she came out, was like, "You make whatever you want the rest of your life." And from that, I kind of, no restrictions. There's no right and wrong in art. It's whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be. Putting your own self creations out there, whether it's expression or food or paintings or tattoos or music. Sure. A lot of my friends are in the music business. A lot of my friends are in the bar music, business that put on, whether it's, Cobra Lounge, Liars Club, etc. And you have to be expressive. And so I do a lot of different forms of art. I can do the Boston Whaler, seascape kind of thing. But I enjoy stuff. And when I got back into art because of this COVID, I started painting again. And I was like, I had a steampunk idea, and I guess I didn't know how I wanted to put out something. So basically, the KH Mending is my fiance, and the steampunk heart of what's going on in this world, and everything could be very mechanical and whatever, but I wanted it to be kind of like steampunk fine art. Mm-hmm. And because I haven't seen any, and I'm sure it exists, and I kind of look through things, but I wanted something nice. And when I gave it to her in the morning, she woke up in the morning and looked at me and looked at the painting, and it's like she didn't even know who she was engaged to. She had never seen this, kind of little detail pop color stuff, because I made, pop art and some smears and some whatever. And to be honest, that one is the one that kind of brought me back into these ideas that I can go anywhere with this. There is no right and wrong, impressionistic art or impressionist artists, they went with their style. Well, I'm not sure, but I don't know that I've seen a Van Gogh Baroque painting, and sorry, go ahead.
No, you hit it on the head. And this is something I've talked about with a cajillion different bands. I've talked about it with aspiring and fledgling podcasters. First and foremost, you have to create art for yourself. The people who go into it the wrong way, I bet I can make money doing this, are doing it all wrong. If you're not doing it to satisfy your soul, you're doing it wrong. And
that's a fair point. It's almost like being a chef for years, or a restaurant GM, or whatever the job I held in the industry. One of those things is like, if you make a high end menu, you get the customers. Can you make it with no onions plus this plus that? No, it's kind of like, this is my composed dish.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with this art. Like it or don't, it's what I'm putting out. You don't get to say, make me this, but can you make his eyes blue? Or, I'm not a reproduction artist. I'm here to purge, is a good way to say it. I need to get it out of me, because I need to create somehow.
Totally get it. And I do have a lot of people asking me on the side, how do I start a podcast? What's a good way to become successful as a podcaster? First of all, let me fucking know when you find out. But second of all, really, if you're catering or building something based on expectations, what a weird way to go about things. If you're not driven by a passion to do it, maybe you're not doing the right thing. Maybe you're
now with this COVID stuff in the restaurant business, you have to fight and scrap for every dollar. So if you make a composed dish with balsamic drizzle and this and that, and you don't really want to change it, you need those diners dollars now.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to, So when somebody asks me, hey, can you make me a painting just like that one, but change this? I'll say no, but I'll make you an original one and we can go from there. I don't want to, Curtis that's only one Curtis,
So you mentioned at the very beginning of our conversation, we met before at a concert. Forgive me, I don't remember. Where did I meet you?
I don't remember either.
Okay.
But we have met maybe a few times, whether Riot Fest or Black Sabbath or something, whatever, for years and years.
Okay.
I'm an avid music guy, and that's one of the things that actually kind of led me to this art, because I used to go to a concert at least once a week.
Sure.
And whether it was small and live music or Guns N' Roses at Soldier Field, I was doing that, and it makes me sad because I miss it so much. So I have to kind of put that hobby, or lifestyle kind of away. You got to put it away for now until this stuff happens. I love that everybody's doing, local H or whatever, or, the drive-ins or the stuff like that. And for me, it's kind of, I miss it. I was surrounded by live music all the time. And it's a way to direct that longing, Yeah.
And you mentioned local H. I've been saying this. I feel like Scott Lucas should start charging me every time I praise him on this podcast. But he's, as we talk about ways around the pandemic, to me, he has been on the leading edge of how.
And that's it. And other bands and stuff around the country have seen that kind of direction moving forward, how to do things now during this stuff. Because I'm sure he's got to get it out. He's got to play. He's got to, it's people that have nurtured their creativity. You got to get it out. There's your podcast. I mean, you're surrounded with art. You make original content every day. You got to get it out. It's got to come out somehow.
That's it.
Otherwise, we end up the uncle that wore a suit and tie to work every day for 50 years.
That's it. And I've said this before too, so forgive me if this sounds repetitious, but having this podcast during all this, having this fixed position on my calendar every night has kept me sane. Like being able to do something that is creative and expressive and just my thing.
And I agree because it was, when the pandemic first hit and I got the kind of, when your phone gives you the giant alert and it says all restaurants shut down, I was legit immediately sad, and I didn't know how to help or what to do. So I started putting out like meals for anybody that needed it. Probably the first 3 months of the pandemic, I was making, whatever, a different meal, whether it's fried chicken or Korean food or whatever. And I said to all my friends and family in the restaurant business, whoever needs it, come pick it up, because we're stuck and we're all in this together, and the industry is never going to be the same. And it can help me keep my sanity because I had to create. And, now we're further along. I obviously couldn't, afford or, the craziness of cooking every day to, give it away. I'm not a soup kitchen, but I probably need one pretty soon.
So as we look at these pieces of art that you have made and you're continuing to create, you have an Instagram set up. It is Odd Kid Art. ODDKIDART on Instagram. If someone sees something or has seen something in tonight's podcast or goes to Odd Kid Art and says, oh man, I'd love that for my jungle room. That's an Elvis reference. What would they need to do?
Go to oddkidart at Instagram.com or oddkidart at Facebook. Also, I'll have a website. I've been tooling with it all week, and it's oddkidart.com, but I'm not happy with where it's at. So I still have to morph and create it more. It should be up in the next day or two.
Building a website's a pain in the ass.
Because as everything's for sale, because this is, now my new job, I guess, for the time being is to, make cool shit for money. I like to talk to people and figure out something about them and then do my take on it,
Like you did for me.
And basically, I was calling this, there was, toying around with, garage art or a way to kind of get it together. And, we're all the odd kids, we're all, everybody's an outsider to some aspect, whether it's, the weird kid at the lunchroom table in high school or whatever. I mean, it's, and I like the tagline that I came up with was art for the uneven, odd art for the uneven.
Perfect. I love what you're doing. I love that you kind of found a new way to express yourself in a cool way. And obviously you have a genuine knack and aptitude, and the stuff you're putting on canvas, and
I'm a little surprised.
That's great though. And again, I'm going to hold this up one more time because I really do think it's fantastic. Mic check engine.
The name was on the nose too, and I was literally on my way to drop it off to you, and I was like, "Shit, it doesn't have a name." And I was like, "Oh, it's a check engine light," and then it just kind of dawned on me, and it was mic check engine, and it's kind of directly on the nose.
I love it. All right, so Odd Kid Art on Instagram, on Facebook, website, almost near a point of completion. Thanks for letting us walk through your garage, at least through JPEGs. Tonight on the podcast,
and save our stages, and save our restaurants and bars and hair salons and tattoo studios. I don't know how this is going to go, and I'm hopeful. And someday it's going to rubber band back very big. So
it is. And on that note, we were talking at the beginning of this episode about my birthday. I'm not one of those people who does the fundraisers. God, I hate that. I mean, respectfully, I hate that stuff because I just, it's not for me. But if you're one of those people who's inclined to support people on those initiatives for people's birthdays, support local businesses, go to local restaurants.
Birthdays are a great thing. There's not many days a year where you can actually get, affirmed and have the well wishes and have the people look at you, they might not say it 364 days a year, but then on your birthday, they say, "Hey, I love you," or "I like you," or "I appreciate that you exist in this world." So you wrap your head around birthdays because
fair enough.
People appreciate you.
Fair enough. Thank you. But yeah, if you are so inclined, support local restaurants, do carry out, take some stuff home. Bandcamp Day, one more is happening, I think, a week from today, where all the artists get 100% of the proceeds of sales on Bandcamp. Just support our local arts community, our local service community. They need it, and we benefit because they put out cool shit and great shit. So, George, thank you for doing this.
Thank you, JBO.